Every year, pollution kills millions of people around the world. That's because we breathe in toxic air, we eat fish laden with mercury, and we drink from rivers clogged with plastics. These issues are so common, we've begun to accept them. But did you know that you have a right to a clean environment? Every day, people can use the law and their purchasing power to press governments and businesses to respect Mother Nature. Air. Everybody should have a right to clean air. But airborne pollution is one of the biggest health risks of our time. It kills more than 7 million people every year and is a driving force behind climate change. How can you combat air pollution? Ask your government to provide data on the air quality in your region. In many places, you have a right to that information. Call on your leaders to fulfill their obligations to regulate and, in some cases, ban pollutants, like those emitted from heavy industries. Claim your right for clean air. Clean air is our human right. Water. We all have a right to clean water, but every day, 2 billion tons of waste is dumped into our rivers, lakes, and oceans. That causes diseases that contribute to the deaths of millions of people every year. How can you fight water pollution? In many places, you've the right to access water quality data and to demand that your water is free from pollution. With clean water, our food will be better, our communities will be happier, and our children will be healthier, allowing them to spend more time in school and giving them a brighter future. Access to clean water is our human right. Land and soil. The land that supports our societies is under threat. Our soils and crops are being contaminated by pesticides, fertilizers, and industrial runoff, in some cases making us sicker and shortening our lives. But did you know you have a right to live without pollution? In many countries, you must be consulted before farmland is developed. You can demand that governments ban the use of harmful pollutants and stop the exploitation of indigenous lands. And you can advocate for development that is environmentally sustainable. The protection of our land and soil is our human right. Marine. Billions of people around the world rely on our oceans for food and for their livelihoods. But 8 million tons of plastic and toxic waste enter the sea each year, contaminating fish, clogging shorelines, and hampering shipping. By exercising your fundamental human rights, you can help prevent marine pollution. You can demand that businesses live up to their responsibility to curtail marine pollution. You can boycott companies that waste resources and use too much packaging. You can call on governments to enact policies that reduce the use of plastic. And you can change your own habits as a consumer, using less and recycling more. The protection of our seas and oceans is our human right. Chemical. There are more than 100,000 chemical compounds in use today. Many, like lead, are hazardous and cause serious illnesses like cancer. These chemical pollutants are not only responsible for an estimated 1.6 million deaths every year, they also damage the ozone layer and contribute to climate change. You can demand that governments enforce existing legislation and impose new laws limiting the use of poisons. A life free from toxic chemicals is our human right. Waste. Nearly 30% of the food we produce is wasted, squandering the precious resources that went into making it. Much of that food also ends up in landfills, where it rots and produces methane, a key driver of climate change. How can we stop this? We can exercise our right to participate in public life. backing politicians that are serious about limiting waste. We can support local advocacy campaigns working towards solutions to the impacts of waste on the environment. A clean environment is our human right. Pollution affects almost every aspect of life on Earth. But when people exercise their environmental rights, we have a fighting chance to beat pollution and to ensure the health of our planet. Do your part. Claim your right to a safe and healthy life. It is our human right.